Michael, you're back at home this week. Does it feel a bit like a comfort blanket being back at Wharton Road, given the results you've had at home?
It's always nice to play at home. Our record obviously speaks for itself at the minute at home, so we obviously enjoy playing at home. There is a disparity between home and away results at the minute, so coming home is always good.
We talk ad infinitum to you about games to play and points targets and stuff, but are there other sort of footballing goals that you're mentally setting the players, smaller goals between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, they always need to be challenged on many different levels. So whether it's individual targets, whether it's group targets, whether it's contracts and future. So that's they're always getting tested and challenged along the way.
And in terms of those contracts, are you kind of piecing together your decision through almost every training session that at the end of the season you will come to an outcome on each of those players which is out of contract?
It's not as black and white as yes and no. There's many different factors. It's what the budget is here, what they can get elsewhere. Make no mistake, their agents will be hawking players around all over the place because that's their job. We're under no illusions. We don't think that they'll sign whatever we put in front of them. So there will be decisions on people that we want to keep, people we think maybe they're not for us. But then there's other factors within that of will they sign, or if he doesn't sign, we might want to sign him. So it is a melting pot, and then it becomes what else becomes available as well. Because whilst all that's going on, we're getting names thrown at us constantly as well. So it's really isn't black and white. Yes, but I want the players to go every day. Again, repeating myself, the players get time off, but when they're in, they're expected to work hard. If they don't, they won't get the time off. So there's been a two-way street, a respect thing, and they have been given their time off. But to be fair to the players, every time they've walked in through the door, they've worked hard.
And is 8 games enough at the end of a season, along with the training time, for someone to change your mind about what you might think about them?
Yeah, because I think if you look at my first 9 games, the team's quite a bit different to what it was then. So, there's always time to change.
I think Keith Curle was appointed at Northampton shortly after you were appointed here. On the face of it, they're one of the big improvers in the second half of the season.
Done a great job. I think they've lost 4 or 5 games since he came in. Granted, I don't think they should have been where they were, but they were, and he's come in and done a really, really good job. I think in the form table, they must be in the top 3 or 4 probably since he's been in. Hard to beat, tough. I think you look at the amount of draws they've only lost 10 games, and that's all season. So if you think most of them were at the start of the season. I think MK Dons have only lost 10. I think Forest Green have only lost 10. So it goes to show that they're a hard team to beat. I went to watch them against Newport last week, and it was a really great, similar to our game really, with Newport. It looked like it was going to be a 0-0, and they scored in the last minute. They've gone up to Grimsby, a tough place to go, ground out another 0-0. So they're definitely tough to beat.
And in terms of that number of draws, does that show they're competent throughout without any great weaknesses?
I think it shows resilience. I think it shows a mentality within that Keith's drilled into them. They organise from set plays. They're a real threat from set plays. They throw 7 in the box a lot, and have good variation within it. So we'll be under no illusions that, again, typical League Two, you've got to be able to stand up and fight and do all those. Because any game at any level, if you're not prepared to do that, then you've got no chance. And then you've got to try and add the way we play into that.
Obviously, you have Will Boyle available this week. That feels like the right solution, does it? Bearing in mind what happened at Newport.
I made my comments clear out of the referee. I think it probably summed up his game. Is the game really that I felt there was several things went against us, and what ifs and maybes. It's done and dusted now. Didn't think it was a sending off. Hence we've appealed. Fortunately, Boyle's got off it. Obviously, you can't take away the last half an hour of last week where we potentially could have got back in it, but. Moving forward, it's parked, it's done, he's available, so that's good for us. You
don't have Billy because obviously Northampton are his parent club. Is it a straight choice between Tyrone and Rakesh, do you think?
No, George Lloyd played on Tuesday, did very well at Southend. So it's we could change the shape, we could play because we have gone 3-4-3 at times, so we've got to make that decision before the game. So the chances are it will be a centre forward, but depending on what we think in the next 2 or 3 days, that's what we'll be planning.
How has George done, do you think? How has he developed with his football away from Cheltenham in your time at the club?
His game understanding has got better. Physicality, it's tough playing against men, because if your touch isn't quite as secure against younger players, you might get another touch. At men's football, you don't, because you'll get whacked, and you're getting whacked by bigger people generally. And the thing that he's improved is, like I said, his hold-up play. He's learning the game as regards to it. Sometimes he runs too much, so we're getting him to stand still a little bit more and then leave his space to run into. Sometimes he fills his space too early. That's something we've been working on him quite a bit. So hopefully we'll get George a few opportunities before the end of the season, because, like I said, I've said it all season and I'm not just saying it to fob people off. We do believe there is a player in there.
And in terms of just Rakish and Tyrone, they're both in that group of players who do have a contract that's up in the summer, so a shop window for them is good news, isn't it?
Well, exactly that. It's not just they're playing for the futures here. If it isn't here, it's somewhere else, so you need to be performing. So it's not an accident that a lot of, especially at the top, you look at the top level, players sign 4 or 5 year deals and you don't see anything out of them for 2 or 3 years, and as soon as the contract starts running out, all of a sudden the player turns up again, because for selfish reasons they need it. So it's different at this level, because the contracts are normally 1 or 2 years, so you're constantly having to prove yourself, but the turnover of players at this level is so high, you need to be at it all the time. So Tyrone has been excellent for us all season. Rakish has come in, he's obviously it's been difficult for Rakish. We've got a feel for him a little bit, because he's not really had a run. I think all centre forwards need a run in the team to get that confidence and belief. Look at Luke Varney at the start of the season, he scored 2 in 10 or 11, 12 games I think it was, and they were both in one game. But since then, because he's had a run, so it's difficult when you've got 4 or 5 centre forwards to give them that run when we're scrambling for results at times. So they'll all get opportunities between now and the end of the season, so it's up to them to take it.
Just lastly, on Sean Long, do you think we will see him at some point before the end of the season, injury-wise?
Mm-hmm. No, he's fit. He's training every day. So Longy, I say yes. I think yes. But I like what I see of Longy, but I need to see him as well. I've not seen him play. I've seen him play 45 minutes. I've seen him play in reserve team games. Never quite the same. So we need to. And he's worked so hard as well. He deserves it. But like you said, there's jobs to be done, and we're not taking our foot or going, oh, we'll just try this and try this, because we're not safe.